Hello, everybody. My name's Kanamanika, and I've got a cold. To be fair, I've had the flu the past couple weeks. This is why I record things early, and schedule them out, so that you guys can have consistent content. But if you can't tell, my voice is a little flu-addled at the moment. So hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. Maybe you're just getting husky kanoi. Ooh, isn't that neat? Anyways, we're back on S.H.Figuarts. I know the past couple weeks have been Transformers focused pretty heavily, but I got another S.H.Figuarts for you. And it makes sense given the last one that we did, that I would get this one eventually. It just shipped later than expected. That's right. Today we are taking a look at the S.H.Figuarts My Hero Academia Ochaco Uraraka, aka Uravity. I'm excited. I like Uraraka as a character well enough. I like her design. I wish she was better handled in the series itself, but I do generally like her as a character. But yeah, as you can tell, this is a fairly standard S.H.Figuarts My Hero Academia box. White background with these pink lines going throughout it, and behind the window package is all pink because she's the pink one, because she's the girl. You can see Uraraka right there, as well as a bunch of her different accessories, mainly her faceplates, as well as different head options that come with the set. You get the S.H.Figuarts quote printed on the window, which is nice to see. A standard prototype image of the Uraraka figure. Her hero name, Uravity. Her name in Japanese and English. Tamashii Nations Japan, made in China. You got the seal quality, Tamashii and Bandai logos, Bandai Namco and Uraraka logos. At the top, you get a little bit more window so that light can pass through the top. Another promo shot of Ochaco, S.H.Figuarts Ochaco Uraraka, and the MHA logo. On this side, you get a bunch of images of the different faceplates, as well as My Hero Academia Ochaco Uraraka. On this side, you get this sort of standard helmetless image of Uraraka, sort of smiling, the MHA Ochaco Uraraka image, or logo. On the bottom, you get this nice edited image with it being all in pink. I love how the Uraraka line's been doing this. It's very pretty. SHF Ochaco Uraraka. On the back, you get all of your usual promo stuff. You get two images of her different faceplates. Simple style heroic action, name of the figure, logo. Standard sort of image of her in just a sort of generic pose. Her using the whip things that she has, promoting Tamashii stage. This promo image, which is a nice edited one. And then in the big corner here, a promo image of the Himiko head. And down here you get your usual legal information as well as the import info. Nice to see. Anyways, that's the box. Without further ado, let's unbox it, shall we? I feel like that's a good idea. There we go. Slice through that side. Pull it out. Let's pull out everything. The back is a insert, so ooh. Behind it is your instruction manual, which shows all the stuff that it comes with, the hands, how to swap faces, all that jazz. And this is the set with everything that comes with, which is actually a pretty sizable amount, and the figure itself is somewhat hefty for a feminine figure, so that's nice to see. But yeah, here's everything that the set comes with. So why don't we open it up and take a look inside. Very tightly on there, goodness. We'll start with hands. So on the figure itself, she comes with a set of fists. But alongside that, she comes with a pair of splayed open hands. They have, let me get this in frame. They're fairly basic skin-toned hands, but there's a little bit of the sort of finger pad padding that you expect of Uraraka, mainly done in a little bit of a shinier sheen. It's not super evident, but it is there. I kind of wish they were painted pink, but that's fine. These have some nice splay out look, which is good for the types of moves that Uraraka does, to like touch or like slap things and make them float or whatever. We also have a set of chopping hands. Whoa. Sorry, I'm a little out of practice because I've been sick for like a week and a half. But yes, here are these, again, fairly standard hands. They're nicely sculpted, all things considered. They have some nice realistic texturing, but they're hands in a chopping pose. And then we get another set of splayed out hands. I can't really tell the difference. I guess they're even more splayed out than the previous ones, which is nice to see. Nice to have that variety. A little bit repetitive, though. And up next are some singular hands, seemingly. Or, well, these ones aren't singular. We have a set of thumbs up. I love little expressions like this. They're mirrored, so you know what to expect. But I do love a good thumbs up. I love a nice character with like a positive vibe. I mean, she has a generally positive vibe throughout the series. So it's nice to have these. I feel like they're nice and expressive, and they're good to have. Next up, though, we're kind of out of pairs, and on to singular hand pieces. First off, there is this one. This is sort of a clasped hand with a bit of a hole in it. This is specifically to go alongside this. This is the megaphone piece. This is meant to recreate a scene from the 6th season, where she's encouraging Izuku after a bunch of stuff happens. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, these are clasped together. It can kind of work as just sort of a volleyball clasped hand, but it's mainly meant to stick these in the middle and have her shout, which is nice to have that specific scene recreated. And then we get a staple of the line, the effects piece. The paint on the hand, because it's all done up in this pink plastic, but then the hand itself is painted. The paint is a little bit off and a little bit chalky, which is unfortunate, but I do really like having this hand. It's nice to have this sort of splaying effect for her sort of awakened quirk. It looks nice. I kind of wish we got a pair, but this works fine. And it has a nice shaping, a nice sort of vigorous spread as she runs her hand through the air. It's just nice. Next up, we'll take a look at faces. So she has a fairly standard head on her at the moment, but it has her like helmet harness thing. She comes with an alternate head that is just her hair, and I don't know, it's always this one's felt off to me, and I feel like it still kind of does. It feels a bit big, and there's a bit too much forehead. It's better in person than it is in the promo images, I'll give it that, but there's just something off about the hairpiece. But this one comes with a nice closed-eyed grin expression, which does feel fitting for Uraraka. The cheeks are nicely painted, the mouth is nicely painted, I like the expression in the eyes. It all just looks great. She has a sort of normal smile on her out of the box, but she also comes with this serious face, which is nice and cute. I like it. The big eyes are done very nicely with the cheeks. The expression does feel very Uraraka. The eyebrows are nice and small. There's a lot of forehead, though, so you can see how kind of it wouldn't super pair well with this head. Next up is her screaming face, which, again, great, especially given we're doing Season 7 inspiration for this. It's nice to have her do a sort of big, expressive, emotional scream, primarily to Himiko. It's nice to have. I think it's fitting for the inspiration. Speaking of Himiko, one of the nicest bits of accessories for this set, she comes with this sort of half Ochaco, half Himiko face. This is meant to be from the sequence where Himiko is about to give her blood to Ochaco. It's a very emotional scene. I don't super love it because it feels a bit like a cop-out just to kill off a character that they made sympathetic, but they didn't want to have to deal with the consequences of. But just representing the scene, this does a very good job. The faceplate itself very much does have a nice distinction between the Ochaco features and the Himiko features. Same with the hair, it's very nicely done, very nicely painted, very nicely sculpted. It's just very fitting overall, and it just works. It's very good, and I'm really glad they included this. They didn't have to, but I'm really glad they did. Finally, though, we get her sort of battle accessories. These are the sort of like whips that come out of her gauntlets, I guess they're called. They're long and they're fairly nice. They have the gray primarily down the length of it, if it'll focus. You plug in this side, the gray primarily down the length of it with the pink tips. They're a very soft pink. Overall, it would be fairly plain, and I'd be a little bit annoyed that this only comes with 2 when the Revoltech came with so many. However, it's bendy wire. All of my complaints are moot and void because, God, this honestly sells the figure to me, that this is bendy wire. It allows it to be so expressive and just so nice looking. It's just so good. I didn't even know it was bendy wire when I heard about it at first. I thought they were just going to be the straight pieces. But the fact that they bend makes this so nice and posable and expressive. This really brings this figure over the top for me and really makes it one of the best of the line, honestly. But yeah, that's all of her accessories. A fairly good swath, a fairly wide swath. I'm impressed. Especially in comparison to some of the others even. This is a good, well-rounded loadout for Ochaco. However, we still have to get to the figure itself, so why don't we? There we go. There's a little bit of plastic protecting our paint job. It's easy enough to remove. That's a pretty big gap. And my, I don't know if it's aligned to the side, the tag on her back. That's interesting, but here she is, out of the box. And yeah, she does look good. She looks pretty pitch perfectly like Uraraka. It's pretty pitch perfectly her aesthetic, especially in this later chunk of the series. She just looks amazing. The pink undersuit with the darker kind of almost navy blue highlights. with all these more vibrant pink parts as well. It all goes very well, and we'll get more into specifics as we focus more in on the details. But as it is now, she's a pretty pitch perfect looking Uraraka, especially in comparison to some of the promo pics where they had her in such like an exaggerated pose. She looked posing her like this does a real disservice to the figure because it makes her torso look so long and bad. But doing it in more of a standard pose really does help this figure shine, as much as I have a few qualms, which we'll get to. But yes, moving in close to Uraraka. First off, this head sculpt is way better. The hair is a little bit in being a little bit less long makes the face look way less, I guess, small and feel a bit more proportionate to the rest of the head. But it also adds these nice, cool, actiony details. I really like how they look. I like the way the rings are proportioned, and mine aren't chipped on this one, thankfully. The white paint done up on each of these, the little pink dots at the top, and the brown hair is in a pretty pitch perfect color. And this expression is just very good. I like it a lot. Mine is a little bit of scuffage, I think, but I'll live. But yeah, and then we get the pink ring around the neck. Neck's fairly thin. It's a little bit easy to get it out of alignment, but it does allow for some nice articulation from what I can tell. And we have the nice pink ring, which looks very nice. Mine's a little chipped at the bottom, but that's okay. But yeah, it looks nice, though a little bit awkward, I guess, to move around. The torso, one of the main, I guess, aspects of this figure in comparison to other Urarakas is she's a little bit more manga accurate in terms of her proportions. She's a little bit, I guess, wider in her proportions, where like the anime tends for Uraraka to go really super petite with her proportions. This one puts a little bit more of the like muscle and like I guess like skin on her bones, which does really help, especially when posed a little bit more neutrally, a little bit more naturally, to make her feel a lot more like, I guess, like a person, and a lot more like, again, her manga design. This is very much a manga inspired figure, even though it is in color, and I do think it works very well proportionally, looking at it. But they didn't just make it a jumpsuit that they would paint on details. They did splurge with some nice sculpted detail for the buttons and for the black lines. There's a little bit of a paint slop, if you notice, in the sort of line here, but it's not super noticeable from a distance. It looks fine. I get why it's a little sloppy, because this color is a little bit difficult. It's a very light color being put on a very dark plastic. But yeah, the skin suit is a bit tight in areas, which does make one main aspect. The fact that the cut is a little bit above the belt, that makes it look a little bit awkward to my eye. It makes like I feel like the Revoltech had the right idea to put it where the belt was, so that there would be a little bit more visual continuity, because the cut, as much as there would still be a little bit of a line here, would be mostly aligned with the belt. But here, it's whatever. I'm being very nitpicky. Overall, it does do a very good job of capturing sort of jumpsuit design. The arms have a nice design as well. Putting the cut at this band looks very nice. The double jointed elbows do kind of stand out, though not as much as like a single jointed elbow does. And the gauntlets are nicely sized, they're not too big, and do a good job leading to the hands. The upper legs are fairly basic. Obviously there's a lot more of that sculpting here, because again, it's very skin tight, potentially a little bit too skin tight, but that's up to the eye of the beholder. But it's a skin tight jumpsuit. It works fine. I do like that they have the little creases in it throughout the jumpsuit. It does make it feel a little bit more real. And the boots are very nicely done. They have that nice singular continuity. There's a little bit more of a cut here than I would like, but it is that nice singular continuity of detail, and the lower bits of the boots are sculpted very nicely. So overall, this is probably the best look Uraraka ever has in plastic form. It's just so expertly done and does a great job at capturing her design. And so far is probably my favorite or second favorite of the Uraraka S.H.Figuarts. I'll have to do a more full, I guess, comparison and audit or whatever of them at some point. I think doing a little comparison once the main characters from this arc are all released. We'll see. Maybe there'll be a bigger video in the future. However, now sounds like a good time to get to the articulation, because it's about that time. So, double ball joint at the neck, though it's at a bit of an angle, and then a ball joint at the lower neck allows for good expressive movement. She has full rotation, though you'll want to be careful to make sure that stays in alignment, and this stays in alignment. She's able to look down that far, up that far, which is good for a character who's a little bit more gravity defying. Maybe a little bit more up would have been nice. And some good tilt side to side. Shoulders have butterflies, which go all the way. Oh yeah, that's good. 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 That's really good. The bobbles on the wrists do get a little bit in the way of doing full butterflies, but if you just want to throw like a singular punch, she certainly can very well, and like it's very well sculpted so that it doesn't get in the way while still having some nice continuity. It's very nice. Shoulders are able to go up about that far. Could have used a little bit more, but that's fine. And they do a full rotation. Bicep swivel at the cut, so it's hidden entirely, which is very nice and expertly done. Double jointed elbows, which are able to go about that far. Again, this gets in the way, but that's livable. It doesn't rotate, but there is rotation at the wrist because it's on a standard S.H.Figuarts peg, in and out, but there's also rotation here and rotation at the base, so you can go up and down if you want it to look like that. Torso articulation, there's a dumbbell joint system here at the torso, and there's a bit of an ugly gap here, but livable, and it seems like there's another ball joint at the bottom. That allows for tilt side to side, a decent bit back because of the gappage, and a little bit forward, but then with the bottom, she goes forward a decent amount, back a lot, which is good for like high-flying poses, and tilt side to side very well, and there's a swivel, which I know a lot of people get up in arms at them not having waist swivels, so she does. Universal hips, there's a drop down too. So drop down at the hips, which allows them to kick forward, that far, back, about that far. The butt sculpting does get in the way and out. About that far though, it is heavy, so be careful. She can't do a full splits, but that's all right. Probably the weakest bit of articulation though. There's a thigh swivel, not super well hidden, but that's livable. Double jointed knees, able to go up all the way. Very nice, very well appreciated. And then the boots, there is a swivel, or like a tilt at the front of it, right there. No swivel there. There's some up and down for more fine control. And yeah, or it's a toe bend, but it's a little bit hard to, I guess, quantify. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think Uraraka is the best of the SHF My Hero so far. Izuku might be better. Again, this might be new toy bias, and the Izuku might be better, but this is going back to the standard that got me into this specific toy line, because believe it or not, this toy line got me back into My Hero. This show, the manga, pretty bad. Okay, that's an exaggeration. It's like a 7 out of 10. It's fine, but it really does give up on some of its cooler concepts, unfortunately. However, these toys are good, especially that Izuku, but since that Izuku, none of them have really held up exactly to that standard. They've been good, but they haven't been that good. Until this Uraraka. This Uraraka it blew my expectations away. I thought I wasn't going to like it from the promo images. I don't really like how the promo images look, but God, this is just a great figure to handle with some great accessories, a fairly good aesthetic that's only a little bit marred by some sloppy paintwork, though even still, it's not super noticeable from far away. Overall, this is a very highly recommended figure, and I did not think that it would be, it's not easy, I think, to beat the Revoltech. I know a lot of people have slandered the Revoltech Uraraka, but that figure is good. It's a bit overpriced, but it's good. This one does beat it, though. You should get this if you should prioritize getting this Uraraka if you're interested in getting any of these My Hero Academia figures. Maybe even make the first one you get, unless you can find that Izuku for like a base price or cheaper. This is just a good figure. You should pick it up. I think it's really good. But yeah, that's this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do all the usual YouTube stuff. Like the video if you did enjoy this video. Leave comments what you think of the figure, what you think of the video, all that good jazz, what you think of My Hero Academia, whatever's on your mind, leave it in the comments as long as it isn't like hateful or whatever. And then you can check out the channel for more. As I have described, I've already taken a look at a lot of the My Hero Academia figures already. I've specifically done videos on Izuku, Bakugo, Dabi, and even some of the Revoltechs, including the Revoltech Uraraka, if you want to see my thoughts on that. And then you can subscribe to the channel, because there's going to be more. I've already recorded a video on the Shota Todoroki that'll be coming out in a couple months. And even before then, I've got pre-orders on the other villains. So, if you want to know when those videos are going to come out, go ahead and subscribe so you can get notified when they do. However, until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you around in the next one. Bye-bye!